up, buddies? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Colleen Welsh. I'm a coach for freelance writers. So today I'm going to share my story of how I got started as a freelancer. I get this question a lot. How did you get started? I want to tell you my success story as a freelance copywriter so that you know what's possible. When I was growing up, I really wanted to be a writer, but I didn't think that that was really a viable career path for me, so I never pursued it. So I'm here to tell you that you can make a living as a freelance writer. And I don't even make that much money compared to some other freelancers. I could make more, but I choose to work less hours. So if you're interested in learning how I went from making $800 a month as a freelancer to where I am now, making $6,000 a month on part-time hours, keep watching. Before I get into my story, I just want to tell you about where I am right now. So last year I made about $70,000 as a freelance copywriter, and I work part-time hours, so like 10 to 20 hours per week. I provide two main services for my clients. I write blog posts, and then I do more traditional forms of copywriting, especially branding for new beauty businesses. I market myself towards companies in the beauty industry, but I work with other industries. Like, for example, one of my clients right now is actually like in the healthcare field. The question people always ask me, how much do you pay in taxes though? Okay, I pay about 15 to 20% in taxes. So not as bad as you would think. I am 31 years old. I've been doing this for 3.5 years, and I've been at this level for 1 year. I could have got here sooner, but I had kind of a problem holding me back, which we'll talk about later. Okay, so let's start with a little prehistory. So a little background, I was always super into writing. When I was a really little kid, I was obsessed with Harriet the Spy, so I started carrying around a notebook and keeping a diary. This is my first diary that I ever wrote in, and I began this on September 3rd, 1997. And I was super serious about it, and I've kept a diary ever since, actually. In college, I studied English literature, anthropology, and classics, so like Latin. I tried to switch into creative writing at my university, but I couldn't get into the program. And then I was basically told that without being in the creative writing program, I wouldn't be able to get into an MFA program. So I pretty much gave up on my dreams of being a famous novelist. I also started a blog in college. So like when I was a kid, I just really wanted to like make websites and make blogs and stuff. Like I made like a website for myself in 6th grade, and I had like a live journal in middle school. And then when I was in college, blogging really got popular, so I made my own fashion blog. It was terrible, but it taught me a lot about blogging and how like publishing on the internet works. And then I also worked at an advertising agency in college. So I had an internship as a consumer ethnographer, which basically means that I went to people's houses and videotaped interviews with them. So it was really like market research. I wasn't working on the creative side, but it was really cool. It was a really great internship, and I enjoyed it. But when I graduated, they let me go because they didn't have a budget for me to work there full time, so I had to go find a job. Then I got a job working as a merchandise coordinator for a fashion retailer. I was writing purchase orders and managing samples all day, and I was miserable. I hated it. But eventually I was moved into a site merchandiser role, which allowed me to write a little bit of product copy, but it was super basic. It was just like unicorn necklace, made in China. I mean, I would hardly call that copywriting, but if you think I didn't eventually add that as copywriting to my resume later, that's exactly what I did. Sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it, you know what I mean? Then I up and quit and moved to Los Angeles, which brings us to the first time I failed at freelance writing. So when I first moved to LA, I legit thought that I was just gonna be like an influencer slash blogger slash editorial writer and make enough money to like live there and be happy. Boy, was I wrong. Was I wrong. I had no plan, no clue what I was doing, no budget, and only like $3,000 worth of savings. So, I mean, my blog was okay. I was getting some brand deals on my blog, but it was only for free product. So, baby can't live off of free face masks, you know? I pitched like 3 stories to women's lifestyle publications online, like Refinery 29, and I either got rejected or I didn't hear back. And then I ran out of money and I was forced to get a job. So I thought that I would just like side hustle, but I didn't, because I had a drinking problem. So I don't drink now, and I haven't drank for the past year and a half, but from the ages of 19 to 30, I had kind of a pretty serious drinking problem. Basically, I spent every weekend partying and or hungover. I often drank during the week. I would show up to work hungover, sometimes even drunk. I had really low self-esteem and basically zero energy. So all the time that I should have spent side hustling and making my dreams come true, I spent either drunk or hungover, eating Taco Bell on the couch. This drinking problem, it really held me back from going after my dreams and making it happen. I knew I wanted to pivot into a marketing or a copywriting role. I signed up with a few temp agencies in LA, and then I was lucky enough to get a marketing role at an athletic apparel manufacturer. I was basically just a marketing assistant, but I also wrote some basic copy like product descriptions about workout leggings. Not exactly exciting stuff. I did learn a lot there though, because it was a really small company, so I got to wear a lot of hats. Like I got to like cast and direct photo shoots, which was crazy. So I worked there for about 9 months, but the situation became extremely toxic, so I suddenly quit with no savings and no plan. Woo! As you can see, that's kind of a theme here. During the summer of 2016, I decided to try my hand at freelancing again. I think I had a little bit more of an idea of what to do this time. I put together some kind of shoddy portfolio with my product descriptions and started looking for work. Most notably, I had the opportunity to do a copywriting project for Real Techniques. They sent me a huge box of all their brushes, which was so cool, and I still use them today. But I did so badly on the test project, probably because I was hungover, that they ended up ghosting me. So during that summer, I was a professional dog walker to make ends meet. I was usually too tired when I got home from walking dogs all day to work on my freelancing, but not too tired to party. Basically, I just went on a bender the whole summer, and like all I did was play Pokemon Go. Then I got robbed. Then my car broke down. I ran out of money and had to borrow from friends. But then I got really lucky when a former colleague invited me to work under her in a marketing department at a beauty company, but that means that I had to put my freelancing dreams on hold yet again. So my last real job I had was working on a marketing team at a beauty company. I actually really liked that job, but unfortunately the company decided to shut down their LA office, and they gave people the opportunity of moving to the East Coast, and I didn't want to do that. The good news was they gave us like 9 months notice, so I had plenty of time to figure out what I wanted to do next. One of my coworkers there freelanced on the side, and he's the one that kind of opened my eyes to like the realms of possibility as a freelancer. He explained away 2 of my biggest objections about freelancing. One, I didn't think I could make enough money to survive, let alone thrive. The other thing I was really afraid of was taxes. He made me realize that being a freelancer and making good money was actually achievable for me. Then in the spring of 2017, I went to China for a week, which really opened my eyes to the fact that I hadn't really traveled at all, and I decided that I wanted to become a digital nomad. So all these little pieces were coming together to create my ideal future in my head. Then I sort of had this realization that I had a skill that I could actually sell. For example, this company that I worked for, they had a blog, but it was almost never updated because there wasn't anybody on the team to update it. But I really liked writing the blog. So I realized that there must be other beauty companies out there who have a blog with no one on the team to update it, and they could probably use my help to get some new blog content. And I never realized how big the beauty industry really is until I was in a Marshall's one day looking at all the beauty products they have there. And if you go to Marshall's, you know that they have so many beauty brands you've never heard of. But guess what? Those are companies. Those people are making money, and they might have money to pay a freelancer. So once the office shutdown rolled around, I was ready to make my freelancing dreams come true. So this time I had a plan, sort of. I had a plan, but it wasn't a good plan, but I had one. Honestly, I almost failed on my 3rd attempt, and here's why. I didn't save enough money. I was in a really bad place with consumer debt. I didn't know how to run a business. And I definitely didn't know how to create realistic income goals for myself and then achieve those goals. For example, I was spending about $4,000 per month living in LA, so I needed to make at least $4,000 a month to survive. But the first month that I was freelancing, I only made $800. And the next month, I only made $1,000. And the next month, $1,000 again. Oh yeah, and I was still partying way too much. Then in December 2017, I decided to quit drinking for a little bit, and I basically had a revelation. I realized I was about to fail at being a freelancer once again, and I just couldn't fail again. I just couldn't do it. I had to make it work this time. I was 28. If not now, when? Not that I'm saying you can't do it if you're older than 28, but like, that's just how I felt. So I called my aunt and asked her for advice, and she basically pointed out what a bad situation I was in financially, because I had like maxed out credit cards, expensive rent. I was living in a very expensive city. I was making almost no money. So she helped me to realize that I either had to take a job and side hustle as a freelancer for a while, or I had to leave LA. Based on my prior experiences, I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to side hustle because I had said I was gonna do that twice and then I never did. I also knew that while living in LA was super fun, it was also killing me. The temptation to party was just too strong and I couldn't live there and focus on my dreams. So I did what I would have once considered the unthinkable. I moved back in with my parents in Ohio. I flew my dad out to LA, we got in my car, and we drove back home together. I love my family, and I was so happy to get to spend all that extra time with them. Like, I moved out when I was 18, and I never really lived with them again. But I did feel really shit about moving to my hometown when I was 28 years old after living in the big city. I often felt like a total loser and I didn't really have any friends who lived near me. And obviously dating was not an option. It was nice to be with my family, but it was also a very lonely time in my life. But I had a bigger goal in mind, which was to pay off my credit cards and start making enough money as a freelance writer to be a digital nomad and travel full time. It took me about 9 months from when I first moved in with my parents to when I was on a one-way flight to Paris to begin my digital nomad journey. So here are a few things that happened that got me from making $800 a month to $4,000 per month within 6 months. I read this book, Book Yourself Solid by Michael Port. This book taught me everything about running a service-based business. I basically went through this book and did everything he told me to do. I switched gears and I started focusing only on beauty clients. So I chose a niche. Y'all know I always say choose a niche. I got really serious about cold pitching. I stopped messing around with freelance writing job boards because they weren't working for me. Stopped messing around with social media and all that stuff. All I did besides client work was cold pitch. So I tried to do 100 per month or 5 per day during the week. I also pretty much completely quit partying and socializing so I could focus on my business. Yeah, so my hard work did pay off. So 6 months after I got started, I was making about $4,000 per month. And then 1 year in, I ended up getting this $20,000 job that only took 2 weeks to complete. And that allowed me to pay off all my credit card bills and book a flight to Europe. And that was only 1 year in. Look, I never want you to think that I just came out of the womb making $6,000 a month and everything was so easy and it's so easy to be a freelance writer. It's not. It took a lot of hard work. I mean, most of the issue was that it was just a lot of trial and error to get here. I never asked for help. I never tried to learn from anyone. I just tried to figure it all out myself. So things might have been easier if I had invested in my education a little bit more instead of just I'm gonna read this one book and hope for the best. I wish I would have just asked for help earlier on. Anyways, I've taken everything that I've learned from failing and eventually launching and growing my business and I turned it into a course. It's called the Freelance Writer's Guide to the Galaxy. It's a totally self-guided course. It teaches you the ins and outs of running a freelance writing business. So if you're interested in freelance writing, have a look. Maybe it's for you. I'll drop the link below. But most importantly, the thing I want to convey, my message here is that it's possible to make a good living doing something you love. It's possible to make money being a creative. I'm not saying that every person who tries to do this is gonna succeed. You might fail once, you might fail twice, but maybe you'll make it work on the 3rd try. If you're curious, at least look into it. Do some research. Don't just write it off if it's your dream. Give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? You fail? I failed twice. And even if you fail, you can come back next year and try again. So anyways, that's me, that's my story. A lot of tears, a lot of struggles, but it ended up turning out great. I got to travel to Europe and I lived in Europe on and off for about 1.5 years. I've traveled to 4 or 5 continents and 13 countries or something and made a lot of friends along the way. And I was able to buy a house and I did all of that while doing something I love doing, which is writing. And I just want people to know that it's possible. I don't think that everybody realizes that. So if you don't know any freelancers who are making a living, now you know one, you know me. And if you ever have any questions, you can drop them as comments below, DM me on Instagram, whatever. I try to respond to everybody that contacts me. Anyways, if you like this video, hit like, subscribe, leave a comment below, tell me what you want to see next, and I'll see you soon, buddy. Okay, bye. Hey, Beatles. It's so hard sometimes. Okay. This is kind of a weird angle. I don't like that. If you're curious, do people still care that I have my Christmas tree up?